Hello, hello, hello. This is Extreme Orange to the Extreme Exchange. Today I'm joined with my good friends from primary school, Brendan. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Extreme Exchange. Today I have with me a very special guest. His name is Reverend Jasper. Say hi.
Hi everyone.
So, Reverend Jasper is currently a pastor at Telok Ayer Chinese Methodist Church, which is also the church that I currently attend. He was ordained as a deacon of the Methodist Church in Singapore in 2020, just last year, and obtained the Master of Divinity in Trinity Theological College. I'm pleased to have you on.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben.
So I would like to ask at this point, like how, like personally for yourself, do you, how do you try your best to make sure that you don't fall into that same trap? You know, I mean, it applies to people like me as well who like don't preach. I was wondering how you, or at least ways that you kept yourself in line.
Yeah, Ben, that's an important question, right? I was just having a conversation with a couple of pastor friends. They are my accountability group, right? Three of us will meet about once or twice a month, and we check each other's lives and sins. And they were just sharing. I was just sharing with them as well that it is so easy for us when we're preparing a pulpit message to read through all the different kind of interpretations, right, of the same passage.
Yeah.
And to look for interpretations that sound intellectual. They kind of sound, this is so interesting. I've never seen it before. It's a new point, and I want to preach that. Right? It's so it is so easy to fall into that trap. And so, how do we guard ourselves against stepping past the boundaries of orthodoxy? Personally, for me, theological education is of course important, but even that alone comes in all shapes and sizes, right? Let's say today, if you want to apply for a theological college, there are so many different ones out there, and not all of them may have kind of consistent teaching across the board. So again, it falls back to the historic faith. That's my opinion, right? The more we know about church history, the more we know about our historic and creedal faith, I think the firmer we are standing on within the bounds of orthodoxy. Now, what do I mean? One of the things that we must understand is that God speaks to his church across all time, right? And across all seasons. And he speaks to his church by the Spirit of truth. And that means that there's no one generation, there's no one group of people, there's no one enlightened 21st century reading that trumps all other reading. There isn't such a thing. Right? Because God, by his Spirit of truth, speaks to his people, his chosen people, across time, and there's always truth in all of these. And God's faithful people in trying to respond to the words of his Spirit have proposed various kinds of interpretation. Right? So knowing that should compel us, if we want to kind of stay within orthodoxy, and not just that, right, and to be kind of firmly living and functioning and teaching within God's will, I think the onus is on us to spend a lot of time understanding the historical faith. And much of the historical faith, whenever they come into a point of heresy, right, especially for the first 400 years of the church, every time they come to a point of heresy, where there are two conflicting movements, two conflicting ideas, what will happen is that it will result in a creed being written, right? A creed will be written. Right. And those creeds were meant to guard us against heresy. You understand? Right. So we learn not just the creeds, right? We don't just memorize the creeds. We learn the history behind the formation of those creeds. And so that puts us in a good position to recognize the wide variety of heresies that has plagued the church before. And really, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Many of these heresies, as I said, they come back in just different forms and different flavors.
Right.
Yeah, but the bottom line, the rejecting of God's gospel, essentially that's what heresy is, right? Remains the same. Yeah. So what are my methods to prevent against this? Know the historic faith and constantly have conversations with the saints of ancient times. Just read their books, see what they think, and to spot trends that are consistent throughout time.
I think, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the episode of the Extreme Exchange. I certainly learned a lot from it. Yeah, I hope to see you in the next episode. Yeah, stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Bye.